The Biden administration says it has reunited 24 migrant families over the past week. A total of 37 families have been reunited this year. Previously, the children and parents were separated under the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy. For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Camilo, thanks for being here. So the Biden administration has put together a special task force to reunite these separated migrant families. How does it operate, and how many more families are expected to be reunited under this task force?
Hi, Lana. President Biden, after assuming office, created this task force spearheaded by the Departments of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, and State. And the Department of Homeland Security has really played the major implementation role in this task force. The Department of Homeland Security this past week facilitated the reunifications of 24 families who were split up during the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy. A total of 37 families have now been allowed to reunite here on American soil. It is important to remember, Lana, that the Trump administration did not allow these separated families to reunite here on American soil. It only gave them the options to reunite in their home countries, to have the children be brought back to the deported parents in Mexico and Central America, or it allowed the parents to allow their children to remain here in the U.S. without them, with sponsors like uncles, grandparents, and other family members. So the Biden administration is actually allowing these families to reunite here on American soil. The Biden administration says it will reunite an additional 5 families in the coming days. And it is important to note that the U.S. government, Lana, still does not know whether 2,100 children who were separated from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border during President Trump's tenure, whether they have been allowed to reunite with their families. So it is still unclear whether all those children remain separated or whether just some of them have been able to reunite through other means, because as you may remember, some advocacy groups before the Biden administration took office have been working to reunite these families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and still so much uncertainty about that. So, Camilo, I also want to follow up on something that you were explaining about how now these families are able to be reunited here on U.S. soil. Are they now allowed to remain in the U.S. after being reunited?
That is a key question, Lana. So the parents who are allowed to come back here to the U.S. to reunite with their children they are granted something known as humanitarian parole. This is a protection from deportation that allows them to enter the U.S. legally. Through this relief, they are able to request a work permit and work legally here in the U.S. They have 36 months or 3 years to use this protection, which they can renew, but it is important to note, Lana, that this relief does not allow them to adjust to permanent status in the U.S. So they are pretty much still in legal limbo unless they win their asylum case and are granted a green card. So the American Civil Liberties Union is actually urging the Biden administration to grant these families a pathway to U.S. citizenship because of the harm they believe the U.S. government inflicted on these families and children. But so far, the Biden administration has not made a commitment to doing so.
Okay, I know you'll stay on top of that and informing us when a decision is made. I also want to ask you, though, about some reporting that you have out this week detailing distress among migrant children in a tent city in Texas. Tell us what you found.
Yes, context is very important here, Lana. To process the record number of unaccompanied children entering U.S. custody in the past few months, the Biden administration established more than a dozen makeshift emergency shelters overseen by the Department of Health and Human Services, repurposing camps for oil workers, convention centers, and military installations like the Fort Bliss Army Base in West Texas. And now these facilities are housing thousands of unaccompanied migrant children in HHS custody. Through the establishment of these emergency sites, the Biden administration was able to reduce dangerous overcrowding inside Border Patrol holding facilities, which, as you know, are not supposed to hold migrants, let alone children, beyond 72 hours. I've been inside these Border Patrol facilities, Lana, and they are not adequate places for children, especially for prolonged periods of time. However, now we know of serious concerns about these emergency HHS makeshift shelters. We know, for example, through our reporting that in the Fort Bliss Army base in West Texas, there have been incidents of self-harm, escape attempts, and panic attacks among the children there. We know that some of the children there require one-on-one supervision 24 hours a day, and every day per week because officials are scared that they may harm themselves. We know that officials at Fort Bliss have also banned the use of pens, nail clippers, and regular toothbrushes because they believe that children may use those items to harm themselves. And from what we gathered in our reporting, the source of that distress, anxiety, and frustration among the children at Fort Bliss stems from the fact that many of them are spending prolonged periods of time at this Army base because they have not been reunited with the sponsor here in the U.S., because that is the ultimate goal of the Department of Health and Human Services, to locate sponsors for these children like grandparents and uncles and to place them in those homes. But many of these children are spending as many as 60 days in this tent camp at Fort Bliss, and that is obviously having a profound mental health impact on their well-being.
Yeah, certainly when you hear that they can't have regular toothbrushes because authorities are concerned that they're going to harm themselves with it. Well, Camilo, before I let you go, I have to ask you, of course, about Vice President Kamala Harris's upcoming visit to the U.S.-Mexico border on Friday. What more can you tell us about the purpose of her trip?
Sure. So, as you know, Vice President Kamala Harris has been facing mounting pressure from Republicans and conservatives to visit the U.S.-Mexico border, which they believe is undergoing a humanitarian and logistical crisis. The Vice President will be headed down to El Paso in West Texas. It is important to know that in May, border officials made more than 180,000 apprehensions. These are numbers, Lana, that we have not seen in over 2 decades, but it is important to note that most of those apprehended are single adults, and most of those single adults are being turned back to Mexico or to their home countries under a Trump-era public health policy known as Title 42. The number of unaccompanied children and families encountered at the U.S.-Mexico border has actually been steadily decreasing in the past few months. But I believe that Vice President Kamala Harris will not focus on these very high numbers. Instead, I think she will mention that, for example, El Paso was the first place where the Trump administration began implementing the zero-tolerance policy of prosecuting parents for illegal entry and separating them from their children at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Camilo, thank you.
Thanks, Lana.